and the masters of the universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!" Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. Together we defend Castle Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
Hello, this is TFG1Mike, and welcome to the 419th. What the hell is a 419th chapter of Tales of Eternia? With me, as always, is OptimusSolo. Hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Yes. As of this recording, we are a week removed from the first issue of DC's ongoing Masters of the Universe #1 came out this past Wednesday, because this will air on the Sunday afterwards. But you fine people will have noticed that we haven't been keeping up with Tales of Eternia. I think what Kevin and I are going to end up doing is we're going to go on a bi-weekly schedule for a while.
Nonsense.
Because, well, there's other stuff that you and I have to do. You know, we have to stick some daggers into some poor Venom agents as well.
I thought you were going to say stick some daggers into some cliffs.
Well, there's that too. But yeah, so Tales of Eternia and Mass Mayhem will alternate weeks from now until at least we can get that Mass Mayhem stuff done. Oof. There's only 15 episodes left of that podcast, thank God. All right. Anything else you want?
Back on topic.
Yes. In this episode of Tales of Eternia, we will be giving you our thoughts on Episode 40, Orko's Missing Magic, Episode 41, The Search, and Episode 42, Eternal Darkness. So we hope you're ready, because it's time to go back to Eternia.
Your Majesties, friends, for your amusement, I proudly present the ancient and mystic globes of Ramasthama. Miggle, maggle, muggle, mice, mystic globes now arise!
Orko, perhaps you should try again.
Must have used too much heat and not enough oomph. Miggle, maggle, muggle, mice, mystic globes now arise!
Really wonderful, Orko. You think we could see it again?
My magic, it won't work. It's gone.
Orko!
I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
Oh, I better have a talk with Orko.
I'll come too.
First up today is Orko's Missing Magic. Take it away, Plotman.
Remember last week when I read the title Orko's Missing Magic and I said I was dreading that episode just because I get bad feelings when Orko's name is in the title?
Yes.
Yes, I am a fortune teller. Anyway, all right.
Something's so wrong with
The air date here is Friday, October 28th, 1983. So this was how we ended our week in the end of October of 1983. The writer is Larry DiTilio, and the plot of Orko's Missing Magic goes something like this. Orko has cast a spell in his bedroom, hoping to unleash the power hidden in a crystal, but a Gronk accidentally falls into the crystal, causing an explosion. After discovering that his magic is all but gone, the sorceress determines that the Gronk disappeared with Orko's powers into another dimension, the planet of Omeros. The heroes must journey to the planet and do battle with Zalt, an evil wizard who now possesses all of Orko's magic. We don't have any evil warriors in this episode. We have our regular Masters of the Universe with the additional appearance of the Sorceress. And our PSA comes from Orko, talking about just be you and don't try to earn your friends, basically.
I'm gonna start with the PSA. I have to.
Okay.
It's the same damn thing we've heard. I've heard this PSA. Like this is the first. I think I don't know. There might have been a past episode of Tales of Eternia that I mentioned this, but this is the first time I've heard a repeat PSA that I remember hearing it, and I remember hearing this message from I think it was He-Man or TS, one of the other masters. You know, I've heard this before.
Well, you don't usually hear PSAs from the Evil Warrior, so...
Right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it fits with the episode, but yeah, it's a repetitive message that we get here. What are your thoughts on the plot here, sir?
I love it. I think it's great.
Crickets.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's OptimusSolo's brain just breaking, apparently, because I guarantee you we are going to basically draw a line between us. I'm going to fall on one side, he's going to fall on the other. No, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really a lot of fun, and it's something that we've had stuff done with Orko's magic before, but I don't think he's ever lost it to this point.
Yeah. I like the idea of Orko losing his magic. The essence of that is a good part. That's a good starting point for your plot. I don't know. I think this is another example of Larry DiTillio being apparently busy or doing other things and not really caring about what he was doing with this one.
See, I don't see that. I thought it was very well written. I thought the plot was actually fairly decent. There are a couple of hiccups. I'm not saying it's the best episode ever. But it's by no means like Colossal Awakes or, Tila's Trial or, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I don't know. Plot-wise, my biggest problem is that this magic that he is experimenting with, that the whole idea that the Gronk is in the crystal, falls into the crystal, and an explosion sends the Gronk to another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that's a whole bunch of convoluted nonsense. First of all, that his magic is going to go bad. Second of all, that someone is going to be intertwined with his magic. And then third, that there's going to be an explosion. And then fourth, that explosion is going to cause the Gronk and the magic from Orko to end up in another dimension. Like, that's a whole lot of hoops to jump through to get to where the setting is going to take place for this story.
But
I get tired of the is this the fourth time we've seen this? It's at least the third time we've seen this now, where He-Man must travel. He-Man / hero must go into another dimension and risk being trapped there if he doesn't get back in time.
Well, let me backtrack a bit with your point about getting to where they got. The whole point of Orko's experimentation spell, he was trying to boost his own powers.
Right.
So instead of that happening, all of his magic went into this animal, why? That's the other thing. And I know this is a Snake Mountain moment, but I'm sorry, I have to say it here. Why the fuck are these little animal troll midget-looking fucking things running around the palace with no one paying any fucking attention to them?
We'll get more to those in a bit.
But it's one of those things where it's like, what the hell? But I understand, and I get your problem with it, but I can kind of overlook it because I look at it in the fact that he was trying to make himself more powerful. He kind of,
I like the idea that he's trying to make himself more powerful. I like the fact that usually his magic works in reverse on Eternia, or it has a tendency to not work, or sometimes work in reverse. So it makes sense that in trying to get more power, we are going to result with him losing his power. Mm-hmm. I like all that. I like the idea of him losing his magic. Just the Gronk and the explosion and the other dimension thing is where I kind of have an issue with it kind of not making sense to me.
Well, I can get that.
And then, of course, I don't mind the idea of He-Man going into another dimension and risking getting trapped there. But like I said, it's been done now 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that's the writer's fault, because I know they were all writing these episodes simultaneously and they might not know exactly what the other ones are writing, but unless everybody had the same idea or just nobody was able to look at other people's stories, it's like, this has been done already, people.
Well, not to really defend this position, but I will say that because it's been done so many times, with these portals and time corridors and whatever else. That's kind of the point. You don't want them stranded on
Right.
that they have to be able to get back to Eternia. And with Sorcerer saying, "Oh, well, there's only a short amount of time. That may be 15 minutes. It may be 30 minutes. It may be,
You said you don't want them stranded. What if it was Tila?
No, I'd rather just, tie her up and hang her over outside of the snake's mouth at Snake Mountain and just dangle her in front of the lava and just let her hair burn.
Ouch. That is a whole different type of hate.
Yeah.
I guess she's going to have to dangle there for a while because we're not getting to Snake Mountain quite yet.
No. But it's just, I don't know, I really found myself when watching this episode, and even though I did see and I did pay attention to the credits, like me praising this episode, even though the writing is very well done, even though I know it's Larry DiTillio, really, I just sat back and enjoyed this for what it was.
I will get to my reasoning more on the plot holes in a bit, but like I said, I don't mind the premise and the idea. I just have a question about the execution.
You question the execution. All right, let's lower that jawbridge and head to Grayskull.
Did you say jawbridge?
Yes, jawbridge. That's what it's fucking called.
And then the Gronk jumped between me and the crystal, and the next thing I remember is the explosion.
That's the answer. The Gronk soaked up your magic power and then was drawn into the crystal.
But the crystal was destroyed.
I doubt that the Gronk was destroyed too. More likely it was sent to one of the other worlds the crystal touched.
Then there's a chance?
A slim one. I can open a gate to the right world, but it won't last long.
If we can get that animal, that Gronk, back, can you restore Orko's magic power?
Certainly.
Yeah! I'm safe!
Not so fast, Orko. It's risky. If the gate should close, you'll be trapped in the other dimension forever.
We'll have to take that chance.
That doesn't mean me, does it?
But just to be on the safe side, by the power of Grayskull!
He means me.
So we have entered Castle Grayskull, and apparently Kevin hates this episode, so I'm going to go first.
I didn't say I hated the episode. That's a strong word.
Pulling Orko apart to free him makes Man-at-Arms and Adam get a little bit too close.
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh my god, it's like they're bumping in the night.
It's like a Looney Tunes moment or something.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of funny. I do love the story behind the episode. Granted, the execution's a little wonky, but I do like how well written it is and how well it's plotted out. Like we said, I just really enjoyed this. And I will say, even though I've had problems with the way that Adam/He-Man uses the power in the past, that was a pretty damn interesting way to use the POG this episode, with having the wizard hold the sword.
Oh, yeah.
Have it electrocute. That was pretty cool. I will say, that's a pretty damn interesting way to use the power. And good old water at arms. He always gets water dumped on.
He does get water dumped on him a lot.
Yeah, but that's all I had. I really enjoyed this. What do you have anything? Did you find anything? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a cool moment at the beginning when they're going into Orko's room after the explosion. There was like a Where's Waldo moment where we had to try to figure out where Orko was, and it was even kind of difficult. Not difficult, but it wasn't obvious. Like, it wasn't like he was standing out like a sore thumb. You did have to actually look to see where he was.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool way to get the viewers to interact there a little bit. I'm confused by it, but I guess I like the fact that Orko sleeps on Skeletor's hand.
He's essentially sleeping in his own body.
He's sleeping in his own body on Skeletor's hand. Like, Skeletor's hand is like reaching into Orko's body, and he's sleeping on it. And there's a picture in the post, so go look at it. And it's weird, but I guess I liked it. I don't know why Orko would be sleeping on Skeletor's hand, though. That seems like a weird, odd choice.
But okay, but you got to think. Even though looking past that, it kind of does look like Skeletor's hand. Look at it in the way of it's Orko's body or his
It's
head.
definitely
or
a
his
hand,
neck.
though.
Right? No. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying don't even think of it that way. Think of it the other way, where it's basically Orko is sleeping on his own sheets. Like sheets, back in we could get He-Man sheets. I had He-Man sheets. I don't know about you, but I know I did.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, we as kids we always wanted beds made out of our favorite characters or sports stars, or you know what I mean.
Right.
That's even though the bottom of the bed is a little weird and wonky and strange to me, like the top where his hat is and whatever else. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I like the mind reading helmet that they had in this episode. Yeah. I thought it was an interesting idea to have the alien race have the 4 arms.
Well, the evil wizard had like 9 arms.
Yeah, I just thought that was a cool touch, having the multiple arms and the way they played that up. I thought that was well animated, and for everybody that rips on Filmation, that they do have some stuff that they do kind of interestingly. And I thought that they did well with the 4 arms. I thought it was a nice touch that the doorway disappeared to get them back to Eternia. You're fully expecting He-Man and Orko to go through the portal back to Eternia, and when it disappears, I can just imagine as a kid being like, what? Like, their portal just disappeared. Like, what's going to happen now?
Right.
So I thought that was a clever touch to kind of add a little suspense and a little confusion as to what exactly, how are they going to get back now, type thing. And I like the fact that, we had these 2 alien, or this, I guess, 1 alien guy with, there's really 2 of them, that they were finishing each other's sentences all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't like that necessarily as much as I liked the fact that at one point Orko finishes He-Man's sentence.
Yeah.
As kind of a joke or a play on that.
Yeah,
so some of the dialogue stuff, some of the animation stuff I did care for. They were just more of the actual plot moments that I had problems with, which we'll get to here in a minute.
Right. Yeah, at first I thought somehow, because you got to remember, listeners, as we've said plenty of times before, OptimusSolo and I have not watched this series since we were kids, or I haven't watched it as an adult. It's been years. When I first had the original BCI DVD sets, I watched it, but that was like 2008, 2009. It was years ago. And it's one of those things where I almost thought that the 2-headed guy, I thought it was going to end up being too bad, because they're like, ooh, evil ones and blah 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 and everything else, and I know it's a good guy, but I don't know, just the way the 2 heads worked on that character, I was like, ooh, is that gonna become too bad? I don't know. I know obviously that's not what happened, but all right, let's see how Tila's doing, dangling over the mouth of the snake.
Someone save her.
We're sorry, your princess is in another castle.
My name is
Show yourself.
If you insist.
He-Man, behind us!
Tattletale.
He-Man, we're trapped!
Tila's getting close to being set on fire. What do you got for your Snake Mountain moments, sir?
Well, first of all, I don't know technically who gets the blame for this. I don't know if it's an animation, a direction, or a writer's person who should get the blame for this. Mm-hmm. But they did not have enough material for the episode. What I mean by this is, you have 22 minutes or whatever it is specifically, and you know what this is because it's the same way every single episode, and this is how much time and space we have to fill with action, dialogue, etc., etc. Okay, rewatch, if anyone's questioning what I'm talking about, rewatch the first and the last 5 minutes of this episode, because it is quite possibly the longest intro and outro I've ever seen in this series so far, with absolutely nothing happening.
You're talking about after the opening and before the
I'm talking after the intro of the actual song gets over, and they show the writer and the director, because that's the first thing they do after the intro, and then and then the episode begins.
Right.
It takes forever before something finally happens, before words are spoken, before action is seen. It is a long introduction. And then at the
Really?
and then at the opposite end, it is a long delayed outro. Like they literally could have filled about, I'm guessing, 3 minutes worth more of action and dialogue into this episode.
But in the beginning, they have Orkos reciting spells and stuff.
No. It takes a long time to get to him.
Really?
It takes a long time to get to him. Rewatch it. And you don't even have to rewatch the episode. Just rewatch the first and the last, 4 to 5 minutes, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I will go back and time it if I have to. But there was not enough material to fill a already short time span, so I don't know why that. I don't know who takes the blame for that. But yeah, I did notice that. It was painfully long. All right. At first, I was questioning where the opening scene was taking place. Now, obviously, it is Orko's room.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Orko have a different room every time we see his room?
I don't know.
I swear if you went back, every time we are in a scene that is taking place in Orko's room and you screen captured it, we would have about 6 different rooms by now. Because this is the first time that I have noticed actual pictures of his, I guess, family, ancestors, whatever, on his walls.
Yeah, I did notice that too.
And I've never seen that before when they showed his room.
Yeah.
And I've never seen his bed before. Otherwise, I would have commented, I think, on the fact that he sleeps on Skeletor's hand. So I just found it interesting that Orko always has a different room. He must be like a constant makeover person. He doesn't want to stay in the same room for too long. He's like a kid, changing their room all the time.
Okay, but you got to think though. We're what 40? We're 40 episodes into this series. In 40 episodes, I can't even count on one hand how many times Man-at-Arms, Adam, He-Man, Teela have told him, go clean up your room. Maybe in this episode his room was clean enough and there wasn't stuff all over the walls. Well, but I'm saying, like in the beginning, like you're saying, you had noticed the pictures. That's what I'm saying. Maybe this time his room was clean enough that we could actually see the floors, that we could actually see the walls. That, oh my God, Orko has...
I do not have the time and patience to go back and find everything.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
All right, here is the biggest Snake Mountain moment of the episode, probably, for me.
Yeah.
And that is one word, Gronk.
Yeah.
First of all, we've never, when we've seen the palace, we've never seen a pet or an animal or a bug or a rodent
besides Cringer
walking around the halls or throughout the castle / palace. Like, we've never seen that.
Yeah, there are no space mice on Eternia.
All right. Number 2, we've never seen a Gronk before.
Yeah, what the fuck's a Gronk?
Number 3, if we've never seen an animal in the palace and we've never seen a Gronk, period, anywhere, why then is it apparently completely acceptable for this Gronk, and I believe there was more than one at one point.
There was,
why is it completely acceptable for them to be chilling around Orko's room and in the palace and everything, and nobody seems to care?
Yeah.
Are they not seen? Because they're not tiny.
Yeah, no, they're not tiny at all.
So I just have a problem with this introduction of this apparently native palace animal into the whole story. I don't understand where this Gronk came from, why we've never seen him before, what the fuck is he doing in the palace.
Yeah.
So that I have a problem with.
Okay.
All right.
All right, you done?
No.
Okay.
So I talked about the idea of getting trapped in another dimension that we've seen before.
Yes.
Okay, why? Okay, before there was legit reasons why He-Man was risking his existence, his life, his purpose as the guardian of Eternia for leaving and going into another dimension. Yet this time he is risking everything in Eternia's future to get Orko's magic back? Is Orko's magic worth taking a chance getting trapped in another dimension? It is for Orko, and I understand there's some feelings involved, and you want your friends or your colleagues and your family to be happy and whatnot. But at what point do you say, I'm fucking He-Man, and I can't risk being trapped in another dimension because you lost your damn magic that's not even good anyway.
But you have to understand that the whole message of the show is they're friends.
I understand
And,
that. The Man-at-Arms should have gone. Tila fucking send a Ram Man in there. Something. Find some other lesser powerful warrior. You should not be risking the be-all, end-all Guardian of Eternia on something as trivial as Orko's magic. I know I'm being nitpicky here and being like looking at this like it was a real-world scenario, but if I was the king and queen, I would forbid He-Man to go to another dimension to save Orko's magic. Just me. All right. What the fuck? Excuse my language. Happened with the sword. I understand that you liked and thought it was clever and a unique way for him to use the sword, but I need an explanation as to what actually happened. Apparently when someone else holds the sword and raises it above their head, He-Man can say, by the power of Grayskull, and it will electrocute whoever's holding it?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Okay, now listen to this, all right?
Where'd that come from? Woo.
Okay, hold on. Stop. The reason... Okay, I know this is going to be a bad analogy, but you've seen the original Stallone Judge Dredd, correct?
Oh, God, like 20...
No, yes or no, have you seen the Stallone Judge Dredd?
Yes.
Okay, remember the lawgiver?
No.
The lawgiver is the judge's weapon. It's coded to their DNA.
I get that.
Okay, now hold on, wait a second here. Hold on. The reason why I bring that up is because you got to think. Adam has been transforming as long, 3, 4, 5 times per episode, however many times, because there are episodes where he transforms more than once. Over 40 episodes. So you got to think about, even if you just count one transformation, that's 40 times he's transformed. And if you think about it in an Eternian timeline, that's, years upon years of him being He-Man. He can handle the power because it was meant for him. Anyone else can't.
So you're telling me that every other time in this entire series where someone else gets their hand on that sword, he is going to say, by the power of Grayskull, and it is going to electrocute them?
No. No, because not everyone is as stupid as...
no one else is ever going to hold the sword above their head.
No one else is as stupid as this condiment.
We're going to see. I'm going to keep track now of any time this sword is in possession of any other person, and if He-Man does not do the same thing, then this is horse manure.
It was still cool. It was
cool. It's bizarro. I mean, it's like he channeled the power of the Emperor from Star Wars all of a sudden.
He was in an alternate dimension, so...
Yes. Okay, my final problem with this episode, and one of the worst things about this entire episode, I love the fact that the doorway disappeared and they were cut off from returning to Eternia, and we had to come up with a new way to get them to Eternia. I just wish they could have come up with a more clever way than, these two guys are just going to fucking create a new gate for you.
Yeah.
That was lame. They created it. It was, in one point, took the form of a pretzel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's got to be one of the lowest moments of He-Man history. That they have to recreate a gate for him, which is, hey, this is a clever... We don't have time to actually do this, so we'll just let them create a new gate. And we're not just going to let them create a new gate. It'll take multiple forms, including a pretzel. In what? I should take a picture of that. That's got to be one of the top 10 worst moments of He-Man.
The great... The great scandal of 1983, Pretzelgate.
That's actually one of the funniest things you've ever said.
I know, right? I'm a comedic genius.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, so apparently you didn't know that. I don't know. I don't know if it's like this on the DVDs or not, but it's like this on Netflix. It gets on my nerves every time, but this time every transition had it. I hate the constant fade to blacks. Than just having the He-Man logo or whatever transition. It comes back. It's not a fluid transition at all. The animation was just so bad on the transitions.
I've not noticed that, but I'll take your word for it.
And it's kind of cheating fate, having them rearrange that gate.
Yeah. You're a poet and you don't know it.
Yeah. But that's really all I had. Like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. It's fun. It's funny. It's one of those episodes where if I need a good laugh, I can go back and watch it.
I will never watch this episode again.
Wow. All right, so let's move on to the awards ceremony.
How does it work?
Hold it up and I'll show you. By the power of Grayskull! He got the power.
And I've got to get that Gronk.
It is awards time. You have any awards?
Yeah, I do have an award. I would like to take a Havoc staff. I would like to stab the Gronk in the body and roast it over a fire and eat it for dinner.
So you'll have Grunk with Tila's hair.
Yes, Havoc staff for this mysterious Gronk animal that showed up out of nowhere.
I can agree with that, but nothing really stuck out for me. Like, yes, I get the Grunk is a bad thing, but it can't be anywhere as bad as some of the other horrible, like, it can't be as bad as Ed Weiner at all. The mysterious reasons of why it showed up or why it's there, it's kind of a wonky plot point, but I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really find anything, so I didn't write anything down for awards. I didn't pass any out. Trophy shelf is empty. Alright, I'm scared to ask you this. How many battle cats are you giving this?
Between the mysteriously long intro and outro, between this funked up plot where we go from Orko's magic to a different dimension and a Gronk stealing it and explosions, and the remaking of the gate into a pretzel into a gate that will just easily let our heroes back to Eternia, I will gladly give this one battle cat out of 5.
Wow. I really enjoyed this, and again, I want everyone to remember that this has nothing to do with nostalgia. I did not remember this episode at all, but I really enjoyed it. I have those couple nitpicks about the animation transitions and about how lame it is. I do agree with you about the gate. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's not the best, but it's not...
I know you too well. I already had you written down for a 4.
Shut up.
Don't die on a Gronk hairball.
Alright, so we are going to move on to the next episode.
Have you ever heard of the Star Seed?
I thought it was a myth.
It is no myth. It is real. And it is right here in Eternia. Let me show you in the mirror. Eternia is an unusual planet, for we are located directly in the center of the universe. It was here, where we now stand, that the explosion took place which created the universe billions of years ago. At the very center of our planet, there is a small piece of the energy left from that explosion. The very energy which set the stars burning and the planet spinning. The Star Seed. Speak a thing to the Star Seed and it makes it happen. It can do anything. It is all powerful. For untold ages, the location of the Star Seed was known only to a chosen few of the cosmic enforcers. But its location is no longer a secret. At this very moment, Skeletor is tunneling his way to the center of Eternia. Can you imagine what would happen if he gets the Star Seed?
He could easily capture Castle Grayskull.
Worse, you must get the Star Seed before Skeletor does.
But how? Skeletor's got the drilling machine, not us.
Up next is The Search. Take it away, Plot Man.
Yes, indeed. The Search, which aired Monday, so we're starting a new week here after our long weekend. Monday, October 31st, 1983. The Search written by David Wise. At Castle Grayskull, the cosmic enforcer Zodak informs the sorceress of a cataclysmic event about to take place. The sorceress summons He-Man, Battlecat, and Orko, and explains that Skeletor is about to obtain the Star Seed, an extremely powerful object that can give the individual who wields it the power to do anything. As good and evil battle in the center of Eternia, can even He-Man resist the temptation to do evil when he claims the Star Seed? And what final twist does Zodak have in store for our heroes? The bad guys in this, the evil warriors, are Skeletor, Beastman, and Merman. And the Masters of the Universe are the regulars, with the appearance of the Sorceress and Zodak. The PSA was Zodak talking about problems of being rich and powerful and using force or not using it to obtain your goals. What did you feel about the plot and the PSA of this episode?
Well, you should be very happy with this episode for what it has. I liked the plot. I thought it was interesting. At the same time, it's kind of recycled as far as like the actual task of, oh, yay, He-Man has to stop me from going to get the most powerful thing in the universe. Yeah.
Yes, it is that, but it has all kinds of other stuff around it.
No. I know. I'm not saying that I dislike it. I'm just saying that part of the plot we've seen before. What it's wrapped in, is, I don't know, maybe it's some sort of Baconalia thing.
Well, in essence, this is a plot about a character look into He-Man.
Right.
A developmental look into He-Man, and not just... He-Man is the most powerful man in the universe, so he already has power. But when he comes into contact with the most powerful object, apparently, in the universe, can he resist the temptation to use it? It just really investigates He-Man's self-control and his character. Obviously paraded in a very common theme throughout these types of cartoons where you have an object that the bad guy and good guy are both trying to obtain. This happens in multiple ways in different cartoons all the time. Also, though, found it a little bit interesting that as far as the setting goes, that this plot is going to take us into the core or underneath of Eternia and kind of delve into that realm a little, which we've never done before.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. Like I said, like the overall fact that it's the center of the plot, like it's kind of like, it's going to be a bad analogy as well. It's kind of like biting into the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop and you don't like the center chewiness at all. Like you don't like the flavor of it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where I'll get over it. It's a nitpick that I don't like the fact that they're doing the same, kind of like I just said, Skeletor going after something, He-Man, we've seen that before. But I like how it's, I like the wrapping on it as far as how that's done. I thought that was really cool how they told the story. I've got a few issues later with the fact of, yes, I know it's a character episode, but I found a couple of things pretty damn lame, how they were executed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear.
Exactly. So we are going to head to Grayskull.
Hurry, Adam!
I'll just program the autopilot to return to the palace. We've got to get to Grayskull at once.
What's up, Adam?
I don't know, but it sounds like trouble. And the only way we'll get there in time is as He-Man and Battle Cat.
Couldn't we just hop a nearby attack track?
By the power of Grayskull!
We have entered Castle Grayskull. And, Zodak. Zodak is back. Very, very interesting. I thought that was cool. Teela versus Adam, race. Ladies and gentlemen, start your sky sleds. Gotta love Cringer. Can't we just hop on the nearest attack track? I almost thought he was going to say Amtrak.
I was thinking he was going to say, can't we just whistle?
Oh, don't even get me started. I do love that He-Man says it would take him hours, yet sadly at the same time in other episodes he can punch through anything. I don't know, it's one of those kind of in-between Grayskull and Snake Mountain moments, I guess. I thought the episode was very well done. It retains the humor between Teela and Adam, and the message in it is good, even though testing He-Man in the way they did was kind of wonky to me. But I really didn't like. I think this episode from beginning, middle, and end is very fluid. You know, like I said, I kind of nitpicked it. Oh, it's just He-Man chasing Skeletor, but like that aside, like I don't even really count that. Like when I go to overall rate this episode, because this episode was just so well done. I thought. What about you?
So I start this episode, click on the episode title on my Netflix subscription there. Netflix, if you hear that, and give me free stuff, that'd be great. Anyway,
It's never gonna happen.
so I click on the episode title, get through the introduction. The next thing it shows is the writer and director, and I see that David Wise is writing this episode. Then it goes to the very first scene, and Zodak is at Castle Grayskull.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I could have literally shut the episode off and just been happy.
Oh boy.
No, I mean, I could have just been like, this is a great episode. It's got David Wise and Zodak. I don't even need to see anything more. This is probably a great episode. Like, those are probably the two best things that can happen in the first minute of an episode.
Okay.
David Wise, Zodak. And I was not disappointed at any point. This episode, to me, has so much in it that separates it from your common episode.
Right, I agree.
Now, granted, you have, the hero and the villain chasing after something good. You just can't escape that. You're going to get that.
No. Like I said, for me, that it's a nitpick for me. But,
right. But a couple things. The amount of character development for multiple characters is huge. The amount of information that we are learning about not only Eternia, but of the characters, the people, He-Man, etc., we get a whole lot of very useful nuggets of information in this episode. The action is good. We get Skeletor and the Evil Warriors being actually in the episode, which is something that they seem to not do as much as I thought they did, looking back. Right. I've been surprised as to how many episodes we've had without them. Now, that being said, I have been known to... you got to have a balance, because in certain shows where you always see the main villain, where you always see the bad guys, I'm always dying for an episode without them.
Really? But you hate most of the episodes without them.
No, I'm saying, let's say, okay, I hate to do this, but let's say Mask, for example.
Yeah.
I've always wanted an episode where Venom wasn't involved.
Okay, yeah.
But it never happens.
Yeah.
You get Miles Mayhem in every single episode. So in series like that, I'm always dying for something that doesn't involve them. But then if you do that too much, then I'm dying to see episodes with them. So I think He-Man has a good balance in the fact that you actually look forward to seeing them again. It's not like you're tired of seeing Skeletor because you don't see him every episode.
Right.
So I like the fact that they mixed it up a little bit, and I was looking forward to seeing him again, because we've had a few episodes lately that he hasn't been in, or that he's been in and maybe his minions haven't been in, or just Evil Lynn's been in, or something like that. So I like the fact that we got Beastman, Merman, and Skeletor in this episode. Yeah. Okay. Getting into some of the stuff that I was just talking about, some of the... first I'll talk about the things I liked about the episode, then the stuff that we learn about and some character development. The whole thought projector that Zodak and the Sorceress are using, I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked the fact, first and foremost, that we don't get to see what they see.
Yeah.
It was something that they're seeing something important, but unlike most situations in the cartoon, they don't show us what that is. So we are left in the dark, just like some of the characters are left in the dark. So I thought and I didn't know Zodak had that power or could do that, so I thought that was cool. All right. I liked the idea of He-Man being trapped at one point underground, and try to see how... I like anytime He-Man gets trapped. I know he always gets out, so I know it's kind of a, true and tried thing that we get every third or fourth episode. But every time it seems like it's a different type of trap, and I'm always curious as to how exactly he's going to get out of this one.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Skeletor bribes Beastman and Merman and basically says, whoever succeeds can be my second in command.
Yeah.
And then it completely backfires in his face.
Yeah.
It seems like such a great idea.
Yeah.
Until you say it and see the results, and then you're like, that was a bad idea. So I thought that was very cool and clever and nicely executed on that part. I loved Orko's ball trick. I think animation-wise,
Wait. Which part did you like? The part where he couldn't do it, or the part where he could do it?
no, the part where he
Oh, the ball. I was thinking of the other ball trick. Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
takes a star seed and
Yeah.
he's the first one that gets there. He's thinking on his
Disguises
feet.
it.
He
Yeah.
disguises it. The only thing I wish the animation department and the ink and paint people or whatever would have kept the stripe on the ball, so it actually would have looked like Orko's ball because nobody else had ever seen the star seed. So it could have looked exactly like Orko's ball when they looked at it when he pulled it out of his hat. Because when he pulled it out of his hat, it looked like a regular ball that you would play with when you were a kid, where it's one stripe around the whole middle.
Yeah.
That's how it should have looked like then when Skeletor came to grab the star seed. Because then we would have known it was the ball, but they wouldn't have because they've never seen it.
I see.
But see, the animation made it all one color.
Right.
So I didn't like that execution part of it, but I love the fact that Orko got there, thought on his feet, switched it out, and then we had the two balls and had to figure out which one was which. All right. Information we learn. The sorceress. We no longer have to worry about He-Man fans coming through for us. We don't have to look up this information anywhere. We don't have to wonder about what the rules are.
Okay.
The sorceress finally comes right out and verbatim tells us what she's all about and what she can and can't do.
Right.
In this episode, she explains that she cannot leave. I know they've messed this up at times, but she comes right out and says, I cannot leave Castle Grayskull unless I am the Falcon, the form of the Falcon, Zor.
Right.
Then is the only way I can leave Castle Grayskull. So she can only be herself in Castle Grayskull, basically.
Okay, but let me ask you this though. There are episodes where she is at Grayskull, but she's not inside the castle.
Right.
Where she is in her. That's my main. That was my main thing. Mainly, yes. Okay, I get it. Sure, it's an animation flub that she's in her human form elsewhere on Eternia, but like,
Maybe if she's close enough to
is
Eternia.
it being in the physical building of Castle Grayskull, or is it just being at the place of Castle Grayskull? Because, as you just said, she says she cannot step foot outside the castle without becoming Zor. Yet there are episodes.
The 4G area, you got to be the Falcon.
Right.
As long as you're in the 4G area, you're good. No, I just like the fact that she finally stated
it, yeah.
that there's no denying it now. Okay. Yeah. I love the information that they gave about Eternia, meaning that they showed the universe, they showed stuff about how it was created, and they explained that Eternia is in the center of this galaxy or this universe. Like, it is the center planet.
Right.
And we got some insight as to how the universe is made up and whatnot. Because otherwise it's just they're going to different dimensions at times. They might mention a planet here and there, but we never get to see the whole thing. And we got to see it and learn that Eternia was the center of the universe. How about this piece of information that literally, like, dropped me to the floor almost as far as my jaw? For 30 years of my life, it has been exactly like the introduction has stated. He-Man, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms,
and Orko.
That's who knows that Adam is He-Man.
Right.
I've always wanted someone else to find out. I've always wanted someone else to know.
Right.
I never knew somebody actually did know.
Oh, Zodak?
Was He-Man is Adam.
Well, that doesn't... If you think of it, he's, the cosmic enforcer of the universe.
I know that he knew.
Right. Well, no one knows that he knows. Well, besides the other people that know, but, like...
No, I don't think anybody knows except for him and Sorceress that he knows.
Oh.
Adam?
Oh, interesting, yeah. Weird.
Adam or He-Man doesn't know that Zodak knows. I don't think Man-at-Arms knows. And I never knew that somebody else knew the secret. And for it to be Zodak is badass. And just the fact that he said in the sentence, basically said that, He-Man is Adam or blah, 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 I was just floored. I was like, are you kidding me? He knows? I just loved that moment. I loved the way that was written. and I loved that piece of information that we learned about Zodak. It adds a lot of character development for Zodak. This whole episode does. And I know you might not like it, but I love the character development for He-Man in this episode. And the fact, I love the twist at the end. I know maybe this is one of your bad moments, but I love the fact that this was a test on He-Man that Zodak created. Because it shows, first of all, the amount of knowledge that Zodak has. It shows how he knows and realizes how important it is for He-Man to be tested, for He-Man to grow as an individual, for He-Man to know his limits, to know himself, and how important he is to this eternal struggle that we're in. And I just thought it was a clever trick and a clever thing that we never see coming.
Yeah.
Till the end of the episode. I mean, we were curious as to what he could see and all this other stuff, but I don't know. I love this episode, and I love that that was all a test to see if He-Man would use force or not use force. So I can't think of hardly anything bad to say about this episode, so go ahead.
Well, let's go ahead and get to Snake Mountain then.
We'll never stop Skeletor in time now.
Ah, you've trapped He-Man, but you've trapped us as well. How will we get out?
Simpletons, when I have the Star Seed, I'll be able to move mountains.
All right, we have taken the latest attack track stop to Snake Mountain, and yeah, you know, I agree with you. There is not much to say about this, but I do have to say, I'm going to compare this moment for me to one of the one of the episodes that you just absolutely hated. You were like, yeah, on this Friday, if I was still a kid, I would never watch He-Man again. It's not as bad as that, but it, like, the end of the episode when Zodak reveals, oh, this was all a test and I know that he's Adam and blah, 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 blah. Like, it wasn't so much that I know. It wasn't so much that Zodak knows, but the fact that they were testing him, and I understand he's He-Man, like it said in the episode, if He-Man has too much power, he's already so powerful as it is, blah, blah, blah. I just, as I was watching it and I learned that, I'm like, it was a test? Really? Oh my fucking God. But it does not take, like, that moment for me. I wasn't, like, I was kind of, like, I just was kind of sad about it, but it wasn't really, like, oh my God, this ruins the episode for me. It was just kind of like one of those what the fuck moments for me. But it's nothing major that's going to take away from my overall enjoyment of this episode.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. It was so weird to me.
I never saw it coming and I loved it.
All right, so let's head to the awards. This might be the shortest.
I don't get to talk about my...
Oh, well, I didn't think you had any. You said that...
I have one thing that... is not really a Snake Mountain moment, but part of me wants it to be. Like, I totally realize why He-Man does what he does, and I realize it's a test, and he passes the test, and he doesn't use force, and he doesn't, fall victim to the power of the Star Seed, etc., etc. But my God, he had a chance to send Skeletor to eternal banishment. And he didn't take it.
But okay, but you got to think.
No, I know why. I know why he didn't. I know he's not supposed to. I know that's him passing the test. But that was the chance to send Skeletor away forever.
But you got to think. What do you do if the main villain's not there? The show would have ended at 40 episodes. We would have never gotten Secret of the Sword. We would have never gotten a second season.
I know, but you never get that chance to finally rid yourself of a villain forever. Your arch nemesis. It's you're so close, but you can't take it.
But if that's the case, if he did do it...
Oh, I'm not saying he should have.
Right, no. I know you're not saying he should have. I'm saying, what if he did do it? And, where does that leave the show? You're going to have a random dumbass sorcerer of the week?
I'm not saying I expected it. I'm not saying the show could go on without it.
Right.
I'm saying, like, as a fan, you're just like, oh, there's your chance to get rid of Skeletor, and you can't take it.
All right, so awards times. All right.
And to what do I owe the rare honor of your visit, Zodak?
My race is sworn not to interfere with the affairs of mortals.
Therefore, I come only with this warning. Grave danger faces all of us this day, a danger so enormous the mind can scarcely conceive of it. And its origin is right here, in Eternia itself.
But what can it be? You must tell me.
Easier to show you with my thought projector.
So it is awards time. What do you got?
Power Sword.
Yes.
Knower of all, Zodak. He is a genius for testing He-Man. He is a genius for knowing that He-Man is Adam. He's a genius for having a thought projector that we can't see. He is just a genius. I love Zodak.
Okay.
Power Sword, sir. Not that you need it, because you're all powerful, but I'll give you one anyway.
Yeah. Havoc Staff to Zodak.
You asswipe.
No, seriously, it's one of those things where I love the character, I love what he does, I love the fact that he knows about Adam, but it's kind of like, you know, you've seen NCIS, right?
Yes. How dare you give him a Havoc Staff?
Hold on, wait a second. It's kind of like Gibbs slapping the back of Tony's head when Tony does something stupid. To me, testing He-Man, the way that they went, like, he could have, like, said, like, the whole thing with the sorceress in the beginning, he could have confided in her and said, you know, we have to test him. He has to be tested.
That would have ruined it.
I know it would have ruined it, but I'm just saying.
He did it the only way he could, by making it 100% a real test.
Anyway, I also give a power sword to Orko for bringing He-Man out of the trance. How many cats you give this one?
Let's see here. Out of 5, I will settle for just a smidge under perfection, and I will give it a 4.5. Quite possibly one of the best episodes of the series so far.
Thank God you're doing the math on this. Just a straight 5. This was, even though I had nitpicks and problems with it and whatever else, I really, really enjoyed this. It was so damn good.
David Wise, you're awesome.
We are moving on to the final episode of the day. Yay!
What?
Who needs He-Man? They're still coming.
There's no way out. There's no way out. There's no...
No, you must go back. You banished Dark Dream.
As you can see, I'm back.
How did you escape the Chamber of Darkness? I sealed it myself.
You will soon know.
You're under arrest.
I'm no longer your prisoner.
Help! Father, help! Help! Father, help!
Oh, what a horrible dream that was.
It was just a dream. Oh. Wake up, Cringer. Cringer, you're having a nightmare.
Point me at those slime monsters.
Slime monsters? Hey, I was having the same dream.
There haven't been any slime monsters on Eternia
since Dark Dream was sealed in his chamber. Come on, Cringer.
And finally, up today, we have Eternal Darkness. Take it away, plot man.
Eternal Darkness. Tuesday, November 1st, 1983. We've entered a new month, the greatest month of the year, November 1st, 1983.
First of all, before you get to the next part of this, on the Netflix thing that I saw, that's not the correct. What you have written down is not the right last name according to the.
No, that's because she has a married name. So
just
let me talk, and you can shut the fuck up. All right, they're written by Misty Taggart / Stewart, depending on if you're going by her maiden name or her married name. See how I covered that?
Yeah, but
shut the fuck up.
In the episode, it says Stewart.
Yeah, Misty Stewart in the episode, and then she later becomes married and is now Misty Taggart.
Yeah, but if we're talking about this series as it happens...
the person still exists, so I'm going to list her current name as well. You're a dumbass. All right. Excuse the rude interruption. Don't interrupt Plot Man when he's talking about the plot.
November, the worst month of the year.
Do you just want to redo this? Because I'm going to punch you in the face.
No.
November is an excellent month. Now, the people of Eternia are given nightmares warning them of the impending return of Dark Dream. At his lair, Dark Dream demands his allies, Tavor and Evil Lyn, make eternal darkness so he can walk the planet again. Dark Dream finally escapes thanks to a magical eclipse and attacks Castle Grayskull, capturing the sorceress. Confused at strange occurrences with Eternia's gravity, Man-at-Arms informs Dark Dream that the moon is heading on a collision course with Eternia. Prince Adam and Man-at-Arms decide that the only thing powerful enough to send the moon back is the highly explosive Nadroxin, and only He-Man can get it close enough to the moon to save Eternia. As far as our masters go, we have our regulars with an appearance again by the Sorceress 3 episodes in a row, and another cameo by Stratos. And our evil warrior in this one is the one and only Evil Lyn, accompanying Dark Dream and Tavor. And the PSA is Tila talking about bad dreams, because kids have them. What did you think of the plot, sir?
Sorry, I fell
you're
asleep.
going to have a nightmare.
I fell asleep in the middle of this episode.
Well, maybe you should watch these when you're not so tired.
This episode... No, I watched it when I was awake, but this episode was so fucking boring. So boring. Oh, God. When I see a title that says Eternal Darkness, I expect something to me, like that title to me, you know, it might mean something character-based, that one of the characters is going to, you know, be turned evil and be so bad that something horrible is going to happen to the palace or Castle Grayskull or the planet. I don't think of a fucking eclipse. Give me a fucking
Well, that's
break.
not just the Eternal Darkness. The Eternal Darkness is Dark Dream coming back and creating nightmares and taking over Castle Grayskull and capturing the sorceress.
The execution of the way he has to come back is a fucking eclipse. Give me a fucking...
What's wrong with eclipse? They're magical moments.
Ugh.
I hate you right now. I kind of like the plot as far as dreams go and dealing with nightmares and dreams and stuff like that and that kind of angle. I like that we have a new evil character that has a history of being on Eternia. He's got a cool look, a cool name, a cool voice. So I liked him being involved. I like that he's teaming up with another evil wizard and Evil Lyn. So it's kind of like one of the evil warriors has a connection here.
We also have some continuity with Evil Lyn here too.
And I do like the fact that part of their plot is backfiring to the point that now Eternia's in danger and all of them are trying to figure out what to do about it. So it's like the whole battle between Dark Dream and He-Man and then the royal people is almost put aside because of the impending doom of Eternia. So I like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this plot, almost too much, but I actually did enjoy the plot.
I agree with you for the most part. It's just, I can't get past, like, why wouldn't they have, I know somehow it would have, if this had happened, Skeletor would have found a way to work this to his advantage, and he would probably cheat Dark Dream out of his. But like, Evelyn keeps going on and on and on about how, I'm not powerful enough, blah blah blah. It would have been more interesting to me for them to bring in Skeletor, and somehow between Skeletor and Evelyn, they have enough powerful magic to make the entire planet dark. Versus, oh hey, let's cast a spell to move the moon. That, I don't know, just the whole, like, I agree with you. Eclipses are, you know, in real life, they're beautiful, they're magical moments, blah, blah, blah. In cartoons, they fucking are stupid to me.
You're stupid to me.
Shut up. The continuity bit with Evelyn is that apparently Dark Dream, I almost said Dark Storm. What the hell is Chris Latta doing in a He-Man episode? Where Dark Dream says, that wand that you have, it can easily go back. So apparently he gave her the wand that she has. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice little bit of continuity.
Dark Dream reminds me of Darkheart from, what is it, Care Bears?
Yeah.
Or No Heart? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I thought the PSA about bad dreams is relatable for kids.
It is, yeah. It was a good PSA.
Even though Tila gave it.
Well, she was... You know what? I don't think this is ever going to happen. But you know what? For once, I want to see Cringer give a PSA. That would have been really cool to see him give a PSA. Because I love the part where he and Adam tumble out of bed because he's having a bad dream.
I want to see Skeletor give one.
I'm sorry, but that will probably never happen. Alright, shall we go to Grayskull?
Sure thing, boss.
That damn right.
I can do nothing to save Eternia while I'm in this body.
And our fate is in the hands of He-Man. Oh, hurry, He-Man, hurry.
Alright, we are inside Castle Grayskull. Yeah, I only have 3 things here. This is my only suit. Battlecat, where are you when I need you? I love Cringer. Oh god, Cringer is so cool. We need T-Man. It was all a dream. Sometimes I love dream episodes. I thought it was interesting how that they could. Like, it seemed to me that when they showed like King Randor, and then he somehow even with his eyes closed, because I know he's dreaming. But they showed Dark Dream next to him. They showed Dark Dream next to Man at Arms. I thought that was an interesting way to convey that it's a dream. Mm-hmm. And I like that about it. I do like the whole dream aspect of this episode. I think that's really cool. The rest of it, not so much. What do you got for CG moments?
I like the fact that we got to see all of the bedrooms of the Royal Palace people. Because that's something we don't usually get to see. In fact, we got to see Man-at-Arms with no helmet on.
Yeah.
Which is always interesting. And we got to see Tila in a nightgown, which actually is the only time that Tila's even closely looked like she was somewhat attractive in this entire series. Anyway.
No.
I love Dark Dream's look.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just like him as a character. I think he's cool. I like you said, that we get the information on where Evil Lynn's power comes from and where her staff comes from.
Yep.
And the connection there with the Black Pool. I thought that was cool. We learned something new about Orko, that he has super hearing.
Yeah.
Did not know about that before, but apparently he can hear a pin drop in about, miles away or something like that. He has good hearing. I like the fact that, I always like it when they use the title in the show, so I like the fact that they mentioned Eternal Darkness, and that's the title of the show, so yeah. I always like that. I like that He-Man saved Tila, and then Prince Adam comes back before she wakes up.
Yeah.
So it was Prince Adam and Tila. Tila, basically falls asleep. Prince Adam turns into He-Man, saves her, turns back into Adam, all before she wakes up. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice touch with Man-at-Arms destroying the Wind Raider.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
So yeah, I thought there were some cool moments in this episode, and I was not bored like you. I'm happy to say.
Well, like all of the dream moments, I did enjoy. I thought those were all great. It's just when we get to the execution of how they make the planet dark is where, for me, it gets boring.
Get past it.
Anyway, the other thing I will say, it would have been interesting if this writer or if someone else was writing this episode, that they might have written something for Tila in her dream. Adam is He-Man. He-Man is Adam. Why didn't I know about this? Like, it would have been cool to see because it is a dream.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Like, it would be kind of cool.
I think that one might have confused people, though.
Well, right. No, I know. But still, you gotta think though that I'm thinking of this as a 33-year-old, not as an 8-year-old. So I'm thinking of this in as far as a writing and as far as a storytelling point of they could have written it off because it was a dream.
Yeah.
So, anything else that you want to bring up for Castle Grayskull?
Nope, just a rather enjoyable episode for me.
All right, let's head on over to Snake Mountain.
I hope they enjoyed their little nightmares. Now they will know I'm returning, and it is up to you to put Eternia into total darkness so I can leave these chambers.
Why have you called me here? I haven't the power to darken the Eternian sun.
Evelyn is right, my lord. It is an impossible task.
Impossible? Well, do it anyway. You know I can only live in darkness.
But my powers no longer work well on Eternia. They are too weak.
The sorceress saw to that.
And what about you, Evelyn?
It would take more power than mine alone.
There must be a way. Find it. Or that wand which gives you so much power will be returned to the black pools from which it came.
We have entered Snake Mountain. Even though I found this episode generally boring, I didn't write down like a whole lot of things that, like, I don't have a whole list of bad things about the episode. We mentioned this before with one of the cave episodes where Adam and Teela were trapped in the cave and he runs off, becomes He-Man, comes back as I forget which episode. It was a couple of podcast episodes ago, but the same thing kind of happens here, where Teela is... It was the episode where Teela got knocked unconscious by something, a rock, or someone hit her with a rock. I don't know. Same thing happens here, where she's asleep and dreaming, and as you already said, Adam transforms. That was a pretty close transformation for me, I think. It was cool, I think it was interesting, but that was cutting it a little too close.
Yeah, it was definitely risky.
Yes, it was. And the only other thing I had written down was an eclipse, really. Eternal darkness, ugh, lame.
You're a party pooper. There's one point where Adam or He-Man or somebody is like, there's no time to lose, but then we have to do the entire transformation sequence. No,
it's Adam, yeah.
It's like, hustle it out, guys. He-Man had unusual jumping ability in this episode.
Yes, he did.
I don't know where that came from. And my biggest nitpick for this episode is Teela is passed out, riding on the back of, I believe, Battle Cat with He-Man or something at one point. I could be getting wrong where she was, but she's going with someone, I think He-Man and Battle Cat, and she wakes up and somehow knows the destination is the mountaintop.
Huh.
Like, she wakes up and she's like, we're almost to the mountaintop, or something along those lines.
Oh, yes.
Like,
yes,
she should have had no clue where they were going, what their destination was. She just fucking woke up.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to try to explain it away, but the only thing I can think of is she woke up, she looked at He-Man, she didn't kiss him, and she looked away and looked at the mountains and said, oh, mountaintop, okay. But yeah, she's... that was such a weird scene for me because she's asleep on Battle Cat, but she's asleep in the position of how the hero would hold the damsel by her legs and by her torso. Like that whole... You know what I'm talking about. That whole way of how heroes hold damsels.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a little strange.
The way she said it was like she knew what the destination was the whole time. She was part of the plan, and she had no clue.
Yeah, she had no fucking clue at all. Anything else?
That is all I can say badly about this episode.
All right, let's get to the awards.
Before Dark Dream takes us over.
I am strong enough to overpower even you, He-Man.
Dream on, Dark Dream.
It is awards time. Yay. Any awards to hand out?
Yes, I have another power sword to give out today, and that power sword goes to Mr. Dark Dream for being a cool freaking villain. and giving people nightmares and being in their dreams.
Yeah, I'm gonna give 2 power swords out. I'm gonna give one to Dark Dream. I think he was a really cool villain. I almost thought he was a returning villain from a past episode, though.
Yeah,
because his voice sounds similar to, I forget which.
He has a look that you would believe as a regular villain of a series, like the main villain.
Now, I know we're not trying to jump ahead generally because we're watching these as we go, obviously. But did you get any kind of Shadow Weaver vibe?
Yeah, a little bit. To me, it's a cross between Shadow Weaver and, like I said, I think it's Dark Heart or No Heart from Care Bears. It's like a cross between the two.
Yeah. I'll give a power sword to him, and I will also give one to Cringer for the way he reacts to his dream. I thought that was so funny. Rating?
I like this episode. It was not nearly as close to perfect as the last episode, but I did enjoy the episode rather much, and I gave this one a 3.5.
I'm going to give it a straight 3. It gets 2 points taken off for the lame Eclipse thing.
You're a lame Eclipse thing.
Yeah, I think it would have been more interesting if they brought in Skeletor or some other sorcerer to help Evelyn versus, oh, hey, let's change the moon's gravitational pull. Hey, kids, look, science in sword and sorcery.
Well, I mean, it was sword and sorcery because they moved the moon and moved it too far. But
yeah. All right. We are going to go to a quick ad break. You're going to hear some other quotes and stuff as well in there. And we'll be back to close the show with final thoughts, overall thoughts on the series and all the good stuff after this.
I was really unhappy when I lost my magic. I was afraid that people wouldn't like me anymore because I couldn't make them laugh or give them magic presents. And then Adam told me something.
You don't have to amuse people or give them gifts to be loved. You're a special person, Orko.
And you know what? You're special. And you don't have to buy presents or be a clown to make people like you. That way you'll know that the friends you make are real friends. That they like you for yourself.
Coming to Grand Rapids, Michigan on September 21st and 22nd is GrandCon Gaming and Comics Convention, presented by Celebration Cinemas. Join us in playing or chatting it up with fellow enthusiasts in a community that understands your passions. Get lost in the adventure of your favorite role-playing game. Admire costumes and art from vendors and attendees. Meet the creators behind your favorite mainstream and independent games and comic books. Check out unpublished games and sneak peek at things to come. You can get all this and more at GrandCon. For more information, please visit www.grand-con.com.
There are times when everybody dreams of becoming very rich or powerful, but what they don't think about are the problems and responsibilities that go with it. In today's story, He-Man was tested, and he proved his worth when he was able to resist the temptation to use his great power for any selfish gain. He knew that it's just as important to know when not to use force as it is to know when to use it.
Like animation? Come listen to Animation Aficionados.
And if you disagree with us, you could be a guest on a future show.
Available on iTunes, the Zune Market, and animationaficionados.com.
In today's story, I had a bad dream. You know, bad dreams or nightmares happen to everyone, and they can seem pretty real, but they aren't. They're no more real than any make-believe story or fairy tale. So don't be ashamed or afraid of telling anybody about your dream. It happens to all of us. And like so many other things, talking it over with your mother or your father or maybe even a good friend can make you feel a whole lot better. Bye for now and pleasant dreams.
All right, we are back, and to hell with overall thoughts. We're skipping it. Because there was a bit of continuity added, obviously, in...
There was some information given that we didn't have before. There was some character development. There was some continuity aspects, stuff we learned about that we'd never known before. But nothing like game-changing. I thought we had 2 very solid episodes with The Search and Eternal Darkness. and we'll just ignore Orko's Missing Magic, which I knew was going to be a disaster when I heard the title.
I like all three, except for Eternal Darkness is slightly lower than the other two. Orko's Missing Magic is so much better than Eternal Darkness.
I disagree. Not even close.
Yeah. Alright. So that's going to do it. Thank you for listening to Tales of Eternia. If you'd like to get in contact with us, leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our posts. Send email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter, @geekcastradio. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
OptimusSolo.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/geekcastradio network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us who you're leaving a message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the tales today, and don't forget to join us in our next adventure when we will be discussing episodes 43, 44, and 45. The Royal Cousin. Oh, crap. Damn it, Edwiner. Return of Evil, and Eye of the Beholder. For now, I am TFG1Mike with...
the one and only OptimusSolo.
Oh yeah, and go vote for Skeletor, people!
Yes.
By the power of Grayskull. We all have the power.